Hi there, Chris here with another fresh tip for you all. In this video, I think this is going to be the final part in painting our ADEPTA Sororitas from Mcfarlane Toys. And in this video, we are going to finally finish off that little robe that hangs between the legs, and we're going to put a order symbol on that space. Here I'm just demonstrating where I'm just kind of choosing where the symbol is going to reside on this cloth. Now, the first thing is it is going to be a little bit tricky as the fold in the cloth is really quite deep. We're going to use carbon black from Liquitex ink. This is a nice thin ink. I was considering using like a contrast or some of the golden high flow and stuff, and I decided, well, I'll just use an ink. I'm going to use my good sable hair brushes for this job as, we're just using simple water-based acrylics here. And the first part I'm going to recommend is obviously planning out where you want it, and then sketching out essentially where you are going to have your symbol reside. So here I'm just simply demonstrating that I'm putting in that big arch that goes over the Argent Shroud's order symbol. Basically, I'm leaving enough room for obviously the thickness of the details to get a little bit bigger and such. I've decided that's the arch, so here I'm starting to lay in the skull itself, and basically I'm just going to draw the outline. Now I have a picture of the symbol on hand so that I can constantly refer to it, and as we're working along, you can see I'm just doing little line segments here and there just to kind of roughly build out the shape. I'm allowing enough room that if I want to or I make any boo-boos, we can actually expand and build the shape as opposed to going too big, and then of course you got to push it all back, and so again, you can see we're mostly kind of, just roughing out our shapes here. Now, when I'm doing the eyes, the interior details of the skull, I'm going a little bit oversized as I know that I'm going to leave these spaces white. So I simply just draw the eyes to fill in more than what is necessary for these initial shapes, because I know that the thickness of the lines and everything like that will change as we fill in more color. And this is basically just, quickly kind of just drawing in these shapes and, filling in. And, here I'm just kind of laying the teeth. And basically, I actually had to count how many teeth you could see visible on the symbol itself. So I said, okay, well, 3 teeth this way, 3 teeth that way kind of thing. Again, it's great to have the reference material in front of you so that you can, and have it visible in your field of view so that you can constantly refer back to it. And as I was laying in the design itself, I knew I wanted the shapes to be kind of at knee level, and then I didn't want it too close to that filigree detail on the bottom of the robe. Here I'm simply laying in the beginnings of where I want the little spikiness, the rays of sunshine coming out from the halo. I don't know what we call those big spiky things. Basically, I just lay out the left, right, and then the center, and then, of course, I put in the 2 into the sides as well, trying to keep them equidistant with each other. Now, mind you, when I'm laying these in, I'm imagining these being the center of the little triangular shape that will inevitably become the rays coming out from the halo itself. You can see there, it's done, and we can call it a day. No, just kidding. We are going to begin filling in the color and everything like that. And of course, like I said, I allow enough room so that when I make boo-boos, because invariably I will make boo-boos, we can actually, correct. And as long as, you allow yourself that amount of room to, obviously maneuver, you can pretty much take care of this kind of thing. And even if you don't really have a lot of confidence or skill in drawing, you can still basically do this and fill in shapes and just take your time and constantly refer to your reference material and, all those things. I just give it the old college try, as it were, because, it is not that difficult. It just takes a bit of practice. And the beauty of this kind of scale is that it is quite large. So basically, I'm just going to begin filling all this in. We're going to jump ahead because it is, it's not terribly interesting. I mean, I think you guys kind of get what the point of all that is. You can see there, I messed up the 2 teeth on the one side. And of course, I'm just building out some of the shape here for where the upper mandible is. Is that what it's called, the upper mandible? Anyway, I'm just filling in some of these shapes here. I'm allowing for some of those white lines to appear under the cheekbones as well as in the temples. But you can see it's kind of closed off, so we will have to correct it, and I factored that in as well. And you can see there, mostly the skull is, I'm mostly happy with it. So we're going to move on to the arch itself. And this one was a little bit tricky. I knew that the arch was kind of central, but again, I allowed myself some of that room to fill in this arch and allow, because basically what I wanted was I wanted to make sure that it was an equidistant distance from the arch to the perimeter of the skull. And I wanted that to be fairly consistent. Again, it is really tough filling in these shapes in the curvature of the cloth. One of the biggest things I will recommend, of course, and you've probably heard me say this many, many times, but when you are freehanding designs on a surface, and even a surface as textured as this is, keeping your brush as perpendicular to the surface is key. It is paramount. It is very, very important. Mainly because if you catch a bit of the side of the bristles where it tapers and becomes thicker, that's where you get those uneven lines. Versus you can see how it's just barely the first millimeter of the bristles is touching the surface. I did a backstroke there and almost messed that all up there. You can see. Again, even with me, I still make boo-boos and stuff like that. But you deal with it and you move forward, and of course have a plan to correct it. And there's always a way to correct these kinds of things. And again, when working with this ink, there was nothing added. You can see there's a couple boo-boos here and there and lines and stuff like that. And here I'm just, after I've kind of refined some of the shapes, and then the way the arch kind of continues down, you'll see that the symbol itself kind of has that. Here I'm just building out some more of the skull, just kind of getting around the eye socket to look more appropriate. And of course, I kind of reduced some of the that white line in the temple. That is also a little bit refined. So now we're going to jump over to Titanium White from Liquitex. This is their ink. It's a water-based acrylic ink. And with this, we're just going to correct some of the shapes. So like on the arch here, there was the way the spiky bit comes away from the main body of the arch. It was not at a good angle. So here I'm just simply correcting it and tapering it and shaping it kind of like the other side. You can see how it kind of curves inward. Here, I'm basically fixing the temple. Now, if I was really, really clever, I probably would have mixed the teeniest amount of black into this so that I could have gotten a light gray. And that way it would work better inside those shadows. As you can see, the white really kind of, if you lay a lot of it down, it'll become very apparent. But here I'm trying to use it very minimally. And you can pretty much build to it. If you thin the ink out, with just a little bit of water, you can basically kind of camouflage it in. But you would have to basically go over it like quite a few times, basically like glazing. Here I'm just leaning into it and actually just bringing more attention to the symbol. So I'm just filling in the top portion of the eyes a bit, also the nose, cleaning up the teeth, and again just cleaning up some of the edges. Some of the spikes also had a little bit too much, because again the very nature of the surface was highly textured, which is why you definitely want to maintain a perpendicular angle to a lot of these surfaces. So here you can see that the white is not terribly, terribly obvious. Again, I probably could come in there with a darker gray to kind of clean some of that, especially under that cheekbone, but I'm going to call it a win and move on and call this project done. So there it is, 12 parts. I think this is probably the longest series I've done on painting a model. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and a huge thank you to my patrons. Without your support, these videos would not be possible. So a huge thank you to all my patrons. If you're considering Patreon support, click the link in the description below. And a huge thank you to everybody who does. Take care of those brushes, and they will take care of you.